Am I the asshole for not allowing my boyfriend to sell my PS4 to buy a PS5 for, quote, us?
So it's your PS4, and he wants to upgrade to a PS5, but he wants to co-own it.
Yes.
Okay, he should pay you for half of the PS4.
I didn't realize this the first time. It's on poo mode, and I can only imagine why.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Maybe the first sentence will tell us.
Yay.
Some context. I, 22 female, my boyfriend, 27 male, are both gamers. It's because they're gamers.
It's because they're gamers.
Not because gender.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of gender? Why?
I assume anytime that a post is written by a woman and then it goes
on
to
poo
mode.
That's the level of misogyny we're at. Anytime a woman is around,
I wouldn't be surprised. Probably.
That's crazy.
If I'm being real with you, the fact that I'm seeing it happen more and more is like, what the fuck is going on
there anymore,
I don't
man.
blame you. I don't blame you at all, actually.
That's why I stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to.
Yeah, exactly.
I.e. D&D circle jerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
My boyfriend and I have been dating for 4 years now. We live together.
Together?
Together. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 4 years now. We live together and are basically attached by the hip. I love him, but one problem. I was a gamer before I met him. He lost his console a few months prior to us getting together, so when we started dating, I allowed him to play on mine as much as he wanted. At first, it wasn't an issue for me, but as time went on, he hogs the thing. He plays every single chance he gets every day. It's not that he is neglecting his responsibilities. We clean and cook together. We both work full time.
That's good.
But when we're done, he hops onto my PS4 and goes ham. When I ask if I can play, there's always this attitude.
Oh.
He sits, arms folded. I can see him constantly shaking his head in my peripherals, huffing the whole time. This completely ruins my entire mood every time.
He's like a toddler?
I guess so. I mean, I'm not surprised. Yeah. So, I mean, that's because gamers.
That's so funny. He's 27 years old. That's my age.
That is true, yeah. And 22 is my age, so, you know, I feel like...
I'm gonna hit you. No, it's not. He's 25.
God damn it. Don't tell him I'm old. When I ask if I can play, okay, yeah. When he asks if I can play, there's always this attitude. He sits, arm folded. I can see him constantly shaking his head in my peripherals, huffing the whole time. This completely ruins my entire mood every time, so I give the controller back, and suddenly he is super happy again. Nothing wrong. Yeah, right. He says the ones I play are boring to watch. Mostly Dragon's Dogma, which I've played for years and is my comfort game because he doesn't understand the game or storyline. Even when I've tried explaining it to him, he only likes for first-person shooters and hunting games, which I have played on occasion because he asked me to play it with him, but not really my cup of tea. Yeah, that's fair.
Is your boyfriend Chibli?
Chibli, yeah.
Chibli, yeah.
He moved to Texas. He wants to buy a PS5, which I was excited about since I thought he was finally saved enough for it, and I get to play on my console again without having to ask or feel guilty. But then he got confused and said he wants to sell mine to have enough to buy the new one. Gaming is also a hobby I love and have done for years before I'd even met him, so I don't want to take that away from him. We can't afford a second console without selling the first. But in the last 4 years, I barely get to play on a console that I own, and I think this is only going to get worse once he gets the new one, since he will be contributing the most money towards it. I had a mental breakdown about this and went nonverbal for a while. He can't understand why I'm being so, quote, emotional about it.
Okay.
When I tried telling him it's because it won't belong to me, so I think he'll allow me to play on it even less, he got pissed. So am I the asshole for not wanting to allow him to sell my PS4 to buy a PS5 for, quote, us?
You're literally listen, I don't mean to victim blame. I'm not victim blaming.
No, yeah.
But you're literally asking, are you the asshole for being mad at your boyfriend for wanting to steal something from you?
I mean... I guess we're at that level
That's
in society
crazy.
Now with how shitty things are going.
Like, stand up, honey. Come on, man. That's your stuff.
This is actually interesting. Okay, because I got a TikTok today from someone that we're mutuals with on TikTok. I think Mika, I think, is their name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they stitched our videos. I'm saying they because I'm not entirely sure about pronouns right now, but
oh yeah, you're fine.
They made a stitch a while ago to one of our Am I the Asshole stories, and I agreed with it, so I followed back. And they made a TikTok like within the past couple days about like the change of like how Am I the Asshole stories are going, like, and how the standards of like it seems like these stories are getting more and more misogynistic, or like reactions are.
Yes.
Yeah, which I think I do agree with.
I agree with that a lot. Yeah.
I think this is one of those examples where it's like, I think one of the examples they gave was like, like just women asking for like the bare minimum, I believe,
yeah,
or something
man.
like that. Like, I don't remember the exact thing. I wish I might link it in the description because I do agree with what they were saying. But yeah, no, I think it is kind of crazy that like we're at this point where like,
well, this is something that I think we've carved out a niche. We're not responding to the story, but like obviously you're not the asshole, honey. Are you kidding me?
not the asshole. Yeah,
no,
I mean,
kick him to the curb. Does he make any money at all? It's his hobby.
Time. Yeah, that's the thing. So like, what is he?
Like,
but also like the real quick, I guess. Yeah, the like what the fuck is it? The him calling you emotional when he's like getting pissed off at you.
Misogynist bullshit.
Exactly.
That's anytime a man is like, "Oh, you're mad at me," emotional.
Yeah, but
that's
meanwhile
misogyny.
they can do.
It's like really obvious misogyny.
Yeah.
So I don't, that's whatever. But like, no, he should be. If you have a hobby, you need to furnish your hobby.
Yeah.
Maybe in certain, like in our relationship, like if we share money, I could be like, "Hey, can I have $20 to buy some thread for sewing?"
Oh yeah.
And you could be like, "Yeah, okay," but you have to ask first. I'm not just gonna spend all your money on thread for sewing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'd be well within your rights to fucking whatever. He did ask her, and she's saying no, but then he's getting upset. That means that he didn't ask her for. That's like coercion.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. This is layered in that it's like people don't understand consent, and then also it's misogyny. But to get to the misogyny thing, yes. I mean, I have been pointing this out consistently on the show.
Yeah.
And then a certain type of audience, not our audience, but a certain type of audience will show up and be like, "No, you're crazy. You're a man hater." And is it as bad as like any other content creator that makes content about critiquing men and critiquing misogyny in society? No, honestly, because we're fairly small.
Oh yeah.
But like the hate isn't that terrible, but it is so consistent, and I think in the zeitgeist there's been a curated audience of Am I the Asshole listeners that are conservative and hold conservative values.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And they react just like any sort of audience to the ideas that are portrayed in the news. And I have noticed with news events, Am I the Asshole audiences react negatively or positively or more conservatively to certain stories.
Oh, yeah.
Which then also you introduce ChatGPT and AI making stories that are supposed to put minorities at risk.
Yeah.
But trying to point out like, oh, this demographic is, and this is shown just like how we choose our stories over time. We used to choose like the stories we thought were the funniest.
Yeah, and that is
and then all of a sudden it's like, well, no, because people are making up stories to make a demographic look bad and you're hurting people. And then it's like, okay, so we're not going to choose those types of stories. We're going to choose stories that we know that we're talking about. And then all of a sudden people are like, you're only choosing rage bait. And it's like, well, I don't know how to tell what rage bait is. I know when I get mad, it's funny. And I want to talk about it.
And I know that I know how to push those buttons.
And
so
also, like, you guys are the ones that like that. Like, the conservative audience type, not our specifically
actual cool,
curated
sweet audience. Yeah, that I actually enjoyed chatting with.
You guys
and
are separate. Yeah. I mean, and it's why we hide so many people in the comments. Like, we actually have hidden a lot of people.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But it's people that will come in and they'll say stuff that is explicitly ableist. They'll even try to, like, concern troll us and say, like, yeah, this is blah, blah, blah. It's not ableist to want your ADHD partner to do chores. And it's like, well, that's completely misunderstanding our context.
Yeah, and what we actually say in store and like responses. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, shit like that. And then it's like, there was once a time where I actually responded to somebody, and usually you shouldn't respond to comments like this, but I responded to somebody and they were like, they were saying something like, so you do agree? Like, they were trying to get me to agree with their concept, and I didn't because it was ableist. It was something about being ADHD and doing chores. It was like, my husband doesn't do chores for this or whatever. Said, well, there's a possibility he could have depression. he could have ADHD. And this was after a trend of literally everyone being like, you're ableist if you don't think that everyone is possibly autistic. And that's why they're causing harm to other people. To which then we developed the stance of, well, you can still cause harm as an autistic person. It's just you need to communicate, you know?
Yeah.
Like when somebody, my big thing is when somebody comes to you and says, you hurt me, it shouldn't be like a you versus me.
Yeah.
It should be like a let's grow together and get through this situation.
It's also a lot of stories do end up with the moral of like people should communicate with each other. Yeah.
I mean, it's a really common response to arguments. And so then we started choosing stories more on the side of like, of just like points we wanted to make.
Yeah.
And it started to become like a lot of the shit that we were talking about was just like people gaslighting each other. Because there are many ways that people gaslight each other.
Oh, yeah.
And pointing it out. And I felt like spreading awareness of pointing out the ways in which people gaslight each other would at least give the people watching, if you have to deal with like a parent or like a significant other or someone at your work saying, yeah, but that's not true. Or like, you know, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Being mansplained to in the office or whatever. I wanted to give you some support.
Yeah.
And let you know that I'm also frustrated by this shit.
Mm.
And hopefully you have some solidarity in that and you don't have to second guess yourself all the time because people around you are trying to make you feel like you're not an expert in your own life.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up.
Yeah.
And also there's some things where I'm like, I don't know. And I want the audience to give me opinions about it.
No, yeah.
And that's been our way of navigating it, but I don't think that's been everyone's way of navigating it. I think a lot of people will just choose the stories that get the most clicks, and the stories that get the most clicks are rage bait and ChatGPT based AI stories.
Yeah, and I will say, as someone who's been doing this for a while, it's so easy to tell, like...
You can't say that, honey. You choose so many things that I think are AI. That's crazy.
I will say there's some are more obvious than others.
Yes.
There's certain phrases that I've learned to be like, at some point this was Reddit vernacular, but now with AI, it's become...
It's still hard to tell.
It is still hard to tell. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But it is like, you know, we choose things that mostly have typos in it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because it usually means you're typing on your phone.
Yeah.
Rather than a computer typed it for you or something like that.
Yeah.
Or even like English as a second language. Sometimes we'll do that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But then we make sure to say, I think this is a person that is English as a second language. So let's not dunk on them. We've also specifically curated our audience from the get-go really has been like, don't make fun of people's speech, which is awesome. Like we somehow came into a very kind audience, which is nice. Oh
yeah, for sure.
And we've worked very hard on keeping them and telling the people that are like, no, tell men that if they fuck up, they should be homeless because we should have homelessness tied to morality.
Pump the brakes a little bit, guys. Let's.
And if you're a bad person, you deserve to be homeless. Telling those people to fuck off.
Yeah, because that's an absolutely outrageous response.
Is it like? And I don't want to go so far as to say like we're moral, great people, and everyone should. I think this is the bare minimum, honestly. Like we could be going out of our way to like organize and like teach people things and trying to spread leftist values when really no, we're just trying to make a little safe haven of leftist values in the Am I the Asshole Reddit space.
Yeah.
And lots of people have been like, I'm queer and I didn't like any of these other ones. I like this one. And that's great.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I think the judges are good for
oh yeah, for sure.
A queer space, honestly. I find a lot of people really like the judges.
Oh yeah.
And they've always done that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I do think there are others. I haven't really listened to Comfort Pod, but I know they seem very nice.
Yeah.
Reddit on Wiki too. They also, if any podcast where you go to their Apple reviews and they're being criticized for being too woke, they're probably fine.
Yeah. Maybe, possibly.
Are getting too political. Usually it's that.
Yeah.
And the judges in Reddit on Wiki, they both get criticized for that. But yeah, a lot of these, it is consistently a trend, and it's been a trend since before 2016 too. And before 2020, when people got really into Am I the Asshole and shit.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a teen reading relationships, r/relationships, that's what it was like.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The narrative of I started dating a woman and then she gained 35 pounds. Everyone was like, drop her.
Yeah.
And this was in the, the heroin chic era. And it is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I skip them because I can't handle the fat phobia, but it's like...
Oh, yeah, same.
I saw an Am I the Angel recently, which is the circle jerk subreddit for Am I the Asshole?
Yeah.
That was like, my wife gained 350 pounds, should I dump her? And it was actually written too nice to be a good circle jerk. So all the comments were like, I thought this was real because it was too nice.
Oh, my God.
Because the regular posts about my wife got fat, now I want a divorce are fucking mean as shit. And the reason people are reacting and noticing is because the propaganda is bad. It's not believable propaganda. It used to be believable, which is why I talk about the lack of education in this country. You can't even make believable propaganda. Do you know how easy it is? It's so easy.
Yeah.
Just get people emotional, man. But now you're getting people emotional about shit that doesn't exist. You don't even bother writing it out. You go to a computer and you have, hey, can you type some Nazi shit so I can pump it into Reddit and get fucking updoots and karma, please? Maybe I'll get on a fucking podcast. And ChatGPT is like, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it spits it out. And then some motherfuckers pick it up and they're like, this will get a lot of money on TikTok. And it does. Because it's made to manipulate you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But when I point that shit out, I get comments that are like, you bring gender into everything. I'm sorry I don't live in fucking La La Land. I live in gender world where my gender is under attack. Our gender is under attack. I wish I could live in fucking La La Land. I don't have abortion rights, you dumb bitch.
Sorry, I love you, Sarah.
This podcast isn't fucking for you.
Fucking Decker on vacation or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I think, and that's why it's like, after the 2024 election, and we were like, nah, you bitches are dumb. I don't like you, actually. Because we started to get people that were like, I don't agree with you all the time. I'm a conservative. I'm like, literally how? Literally how? Have you been vacuuming this whole time?
Yeah.
Every time you put on our show, you just like our white, lily white faces, and then you put on a Hoover vacuum, and you vacuum your whole house top to bottom, and it takes you 4 fucking hours somehow.
Gotta get every nook and cranny, Sarah. Gotta.
And they're like, these people are conservative. How? How? Literally how? I feel like I have to get physically gayer.
What do you mean, sir? You have the second version of the United States flag behind you. I don't know what you're talking about. That's totally the...
And it's, if I get more gay and more leftist, I'm going to get demonetized, I think.
And then, yeah, no,
it's such a tightrope to watch. Watch? Walk? Tightrope? What is happening?
You can watch the tightrope, I think.
I get you could look at it for sure.
Yeah.
You could film it and then watch it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be the film? Tightrope film, or would it be the tightrope itself?
These are the good. Is it inside the baseball, or
is the tightrope an actor? Should he be paid? Anyway, so, but yeah, no, I totally 1000% agree, and we try really hard to do the best that we can. Like, we don't choose stories that are people underage.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
We don't want to spark any age gap discourse anymore because every time we piss people
jury's
off,
still out on that for me on my end. So hold your fucking
still
horses.
Hold my original position. And honestly, we've gotten comments from people that have come back and been like, you know what? Now that I've grown up and I thought about it, you guys are right. That's crazy to me. But we're not trying to change our hearts and minds. We're trying to just have an entertaining fucking podcast.
Yeah.
And live.
Just want to live, damn it.
But I think if you're making content, you're putting a camera in front of yourself and you're talking into it and you're talking into a microphone and you're editing it and you're putting it out for the world and you type a description and you type your SEO hashtags and you put it in a playlist and you make an RSS feed and then you advertise it you at some point have to realize that you are developing an idea. That you're communicating something.
Yeah.
That just
What?
because it's not explicitly quoted in the show doesn't mean that you're not endorsing an idea.
Of some sort, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think about this with Twitter reposts too. I started going back on Twitter and getting so mad. And then I noticed the reason I was so mad is I was just reading dunks from people I follow. They would quote tweet a tweet, and the original poster would say something insanely racist.
Oh, yeah.
And I would get mad. And then the original poster has a fucking dog whistle in his at. Like Jeremy 888.
Yeah, like, yeah.
And it's like obvious ass shit like that, like 1488 or something.
Yeah.
And I started to get really fucking pissed off because it was like they would trend. We have to at least start. If you're not willing to, if you don't have the juice to physically to punch out a Nazi over the internet with words, with your words,
Yeah.
and you gotta be real with yourself. You have to be Mark fucking Twain to like burn someone that bad that they stop posting forever. If you're not going for the throat, why are we reposting Nazis just to dunk on them?
I get what you mean. I agree with that.
Like, we need to stop doing this shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it also is, I think a lot of the people doing this job, podcasting, specifically Am I the Asshole Reddit stories, they don't care. Like, especially, I'm talking about like the people that are like the narrations on YouTube that you type in Am I the Asshole and it pops up and it's like a beach.
It's like a PNG tuber.
It's
Like,
a PNG tuber. It's like, this guy said this. What do you guys think? I don't think blah, 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 blah. It's like 20 minutes and they upload 6,000 times a day and whatever. And they don't care. They're just trying to make money.
yeah, 100%.
I don't even know if there's a person behind that. It might be just a robot. I don't know. Or they don't know. They don't know the dog whistles. They don't think too hard about their content. They're just like, I'm just trying to be entertaining.
Yeah.
They might think of themselves as comedians or something. Or it's a mix of both. I don't know.
No, yeah, that's
They
fair.
could think enough. They're like, oh yeah, I care about LGBTQ issues, but they're not informed on. They're not intersectional.
Yeah.
And their politics, and they just they're uncomfortable and they don't want to deal with it. And that's something that's like, it's kind of your responsibility, I think. Am I perfect at it? No. So you can definitely, if this sparks a argument, oh God, people are going to go back and find a bunch of shit that I said that is not right.
Wow, it's weird. Why is only episode 221 available
Can
for
you
everybody?
shut the fuck up? I find it funny though that it's like the guys that call me like a man-hating whatever
Yeah.
say that I'm abusive to you. And it's like, bro,
Little do they
you say
know.
worse shit to women. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You just admitted that shit is abuse.
No, it's only abuse when a woman does it. And when a man does it, it's totally natural and cool and awesome. And
Okay, I don't know. Do you think James Gunn writes women well?
I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, but also the fact that I can't immediately say yes probably is probably not.
I don't. And I think it's the big reason why I walked out of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when I was a teen. I just didn't know how to describe it, but I didn't like Mantis a lot. I really didn't like Mantis a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the tropes, and I didn't like the writing. I didn't like James Gunn's writing. I saw a thread of someone being like, here's a documented all the reasons James Gunn doesn't write women well. And then I saw a thread of someone like debunking that thread.
Ah, okay.
And it just felt very much like the very classic, like a woman in the nerd space is saying, I feel uncomfortable by this stuff. And then a man is saying, well, you're just factually wrong.
Oh, yeah.
That feeling is wrong.
Yeah.
But then that's whatever. That's like been going on since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
That's just something that exists, and it's a constant struggle in the nerd space.
Yeah.
It is misogyny, but yeah. The comments underneath were like, it's a crime to call James Gunn misogynist.
The crime?
Like, it's fucked up. How dare she call him misogynist? As if it's like a curse word or a slur.
The M
and
slur?
Not
yeah,
like
what?
Just a framework to talk about media.
Yeah.
Which to me shows that I just think if you're somebody that thinks being called a misogynist is worse than being misogynistic, at the least you're a misogynist.
Yeah.
At the most you're a fascist.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree with that. Yeah. Jesus. That's wild, man.
I know, but what the fuck do I know? I bring gender into everything.
Yeah, stop bringing gender and everything, you friggin' woman.
Anyway, let's move on. That's why I do.
It.
Okay, this is like a legit one. This isn't
Oh, okay.
like I mean, I don't know. I guess you could really hyperanalyze it, but this is one that is like, it's just someone being a dick.
Okay, all right.
Which is what I think we're all fucking here for.
Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. For
No. I think that's a great topic that needs to be addressed. At someone needs to address it. But and I'm glad that we're mutuals with the person that brought it up, because that means they care and think about it, which is awesome.
Yeah.